Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Aquarius. If Aquarius is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so, Aquarius, your card tonight is the universe, right? In other decks, it's the world, but in this deck, it is the universe, which always I love because I always tell my daughter, you are my favorite person in the whole universe. And sometimes I'll say world. Right? I'll say, you're my favorite person in the whole world. And she'll say, what about the universe, Mom? Isn't the universe bigger than the world? Yeah, it probably is, right? Okay, let's go ahead. We're going to take a look and see what the tea leaves are going to tell us tonight. And so if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. Also, if you want to hit the like button or leave a comment, I would love to hear from you. All right, so we have the number 23 right here, 2, 3. And it looks like we have some kind of blessing happening, okay? It really seems to me like out of nowhere, right? You have this kind of guardian angel energy around you. Now we have the angel here, and we have the person, which would probably be you right here, okay? I can see sitting down. You can see the head. Here's the back, the leg bent, the arm kind of up, and kind of gazing downward. Right? So I feel like almost in maybe not despair, but some kind of anxiety, right? Feeling a little bit maybe morose or melancholy, worried about things, worried about the future. Now, we have this kind of angelic presence. Now, this might be that you really, truly believe that you have a guardian angel, right? It might be that this is a higher aspect of your thinking, the daemon, the conscience, just kind of those higher functions that we might have when we're problem solving, It could also be that this is like an elder, an ancestor, somebody who watches over you. Whatever it is, however you perceive it, all valid. Right? We all kind of have different names and different ideas about what these things might be, but the moral of the story is, no, the point is really here that there is kind of like an air of change coming, like a current that is just getting established, flowing right through your life. Okay, and I feel like you've been feeling maybe kind of stuck, maybe kind of worried about, all the things that we do worry about, right? Bills, groceries, kids, family, parents, the car, probably the animals, and, whatever else. All the things that kind of occur in our domestic world, our family world. That place that, is home, right? Or at least feels like it. And, we all go through these times where, there might be a little more on your plate than usual, especially with the holidays. I know a lot of people kind of get into a funk this time of year. But I do feel like there is it's not a swift change. It is something that's coming slowly. We also have the turtle up here, or the tortoise, so going slow and steady, right? Baby steps. But it'll be perceivable. And I think the first place that you're going to notice this is in kind of your interest in things growing once more, where maybe you have kind of spent a lot of time ruminating or, you know, obsessing or fixating or going in circles, right? Trying to work things out, trying to figure out what's the next step, or do I even have the energy to even begin to think about taking a step forward or changing what I'm doing, or, you know, whatever. Absolutely. We've all been to that point, right? Where it's like, I don't even know what to do, so I'm just going to sit here and see what happens, right? And I feel you kind of like lifting out of this. Kind of almost like if you could think of being in a really foggy place, like a street, right? It's just full of fog. And you can hear the other cars, and you can hear people, and you can hear, you know, all the sounds of the city, but you can't see anything because you're in this fog. Well, I feel like it's starting to lift, and I feel like you are starting to really move, right? Not only in your mind, not only in kind of that psychic space, but I think physically you are feeling more related to your body, right? I feel like there's this sense of like, I want to get busy, I want to be moving, I want to go somewhere, I want to do something, I want to see some stuff, right? And kind of rising from, maybe it is the melancholy that has kind of settled over everything. And so I do see with the angelic energy, with that kind of angel, that voice of reason, that thing kind of, you know, giving you pep talks and you know, looking after you and assisting you and accompanying you along your path, you know, being very aware of that. And I feel like it kind of is a motivator, right? It is something that, especially if you're somebody who maybe has trouble being alone, right? Or not even just being alone. Maybe it's like you want to do something, but I don't want to do it alone. You know, now listen, I love to do so by myself. I was thinking about, like, you know, there's people who won't go to dinner by themselves. They don't want to, you know, feel awkward or people to look at them and think, oh, why is that person eating by themselves? I personally think that sounds like heaven. But I have a toddler or a preschooler now. And being alone for a few minutes to eat a meal would be fantastic. But, you know, there are people who don't. They just don't. If you don't have somebody to go to the movie with, well, maybe I won't go, you know. We are going to go on a day trip. Now they're not going, well, maybe I'll just stay home. The heck with that. The heck with that. I see you being very brave here, being very motivated, being really, you know, maybe just at this point where it's like, I want to do some different stuff. You know, I've gotten into this groove of just doing what I know, not getting outside of my comfort zone very often. And now, you know, I'm kind of ready for that. I'm ready to push. I'm ready to, you know, really kind of go out on a limb for myself here. And so I feel like this next period of time will be one of, yes, slow, because we do have that turtle, but sustained, right? Consistent growth. Okay? So this isn't going to be the easiest cycle, but it will be a most necessary cycle. And, you know, I feel like you're going to meet that with 100% energy, enthusiasm, just really, I mean, the vibe I'm really getting is just that it's almost like I just don't have time. I don't have time to linger in things that don't work for me anymore. And I feel like that's the biggest thing, is that you're becoming very aware of how short the hour is, right? And I think we all have moments like that in our lives where we become very aware. It's just going by so quickly. Now, we have, it looks like, I'm seeing, it looks like J-E. And it looks like it's repeated, actually. Oops, that's the wrong thing. That's my pen. J-E, and then we have J-E. Okay? And I'm almost thinking, is this almost like a laughing thing? I'm looking. Yeah. So I feel like, yes, this is almost kind of, in Spanish, it is kind of a slang term for laughing, like saying hee hee. And I feel like it almost kind of, almost like it is. There's almost this little sneaking kind of trickstery energy entering the room. And I feel like you yourself are a little bit of a trickster. I think that you're probably somebody who is quite funny. Somebody who, you're really good with words. You're really good with like storytelling, communicating. And I can see kind of this shift into becoming way more active in the things that you've been doing, right? Really kind of almost like it's like somebody lit a fire under your, you know, your backside. And and I feel like at first it's kind of like if you've ever like restarted working out, okay? You know how hard those first couple of weeks are, right? And trying to find the motivation every day, especially when you're so sore, you need to sleep some more. I don't want to get up early to go to the gym, but you do it anyways, and you keep at it, and it starts to get easier, and you start to feel better. And I feel like for you, really getting yourself into that flow of inspiration, of motivation that you have, and this shifting of aspects of your life, it is leading you into a place that I feel you being way more lighthearted, being a little bit more jovial. I feel like there's confidence here. It's like you haven't known what the heck you've been doing for a while. And that's not because you're like, you know, you're a very intelligent person, you're a very capable person, skilled person, but just kind of lost in the murkiness of it all. But here, where the clarity is really, really, I mean, it's becoming quite defined. There's this space opening, right? It's opening up. And I feel you, yeah, laughing a little bit more, enjoying a little bit more, maybe even being kind of excited. And maybe for the first time in a long time, really. And so I see this big shift in you happening. And I want to look. I keep thinking there's like some kind of note. It's like almost like something to do with like stationery, collecting paper. I know that's weird, right? Like a collection of paper, a collection of like envelopes and stationery, and I just keep thinking these little flowers. And I don't know what that is. I want to see. I think it'll come through here. Ooh, don't fall. The other thing, and this kind of distracted me a little bit. I was trying to like get a little clearer on that paper, but I think it will come through here in a minute. We have, it looks like a person standing and another person, proposing, right? On the knee. The knee is bent. Now, we've had, it looks like we have the word Leo, L-E-O, but we also have, it looks like the 6 and the 9, which this way, it would be like the Cancer. So I feel like we're dealing with somebody who is like a cusp of Cancer and Leo, which, by the way, my favorite. My husband is on the cusp of Cancer and Leo. My husband, shout out to my husband over at Dove and Serpent Tarot. I've known not quite a few. I've known a couple of Leo, Cancer cusp people. I myself am a Virgo, Leo cusp. Almost. I'm a little bit more on the Virgo side. But I feel like it is such a wild mixture of a Leo person and a Cancer person kind of being in that same solar space. To me, I feel like this is almost somebody, it's almost like somebody who, it's just so thick, right? like they're laying it on really thick. Like, what is that thing called? Love bombing or whatever, where somebody like is always showing up and has gifts and all these like, you know, kind of compliments and attention, and as soon as they get what they want or they get bored with it or whatever, that it just turns off. But they're doing it to kind of like reel you in, right? Or control you or whatever. And I feel like this is maybe like a little bit of a concern for you. Because, and you know, maybe one of the lesser qualities of a Cancer Leo cusp person can be very controlling, right? Because they like to control their environments. They like to control their lives. They like everything to be the way that they want it, right? And if that doesn't happen, then it can lead to some tantrums, anger, you know, just kind of spilling out of vitriol and this kind of thing. So I almost kind of feel like, although this is one of, especially intellectually, one of the more interesting positions, I feel like with this person, it's kind of like you're really enthralled, but then there's this almost kind of, well, it's anxiety, I think. An anxiety, a worry. You kind of, like, you already know. Like, it's going to be kind of a tumultuous thing. And I don't know that, like, there's even really, you know, like, hey, let's get married. You know, it might not even be that there's, like, an engagement. Maybe you're already married. I don't know. Maybe it's somebody that you're, you know, dating, you're getting to know them. Maybe you've been together for a while and you're just really having kind of a back and forth about, like, do we take this, like, next big step? And it does. It feels like something big, like moving in, right? Now, marriage is a big deal as well, but the moving in one, right? That combining your life, that is a lot, right? It can be a lot. It's a big change. So I do feel almost like there's a teetering here, right? And I feel like on one side, it's like kind of like looking for that stability, that promise, that kind of like, okay, here we are. There is a union here of some kind, and I can trust in that. On the other end, it's kind of like you're such an independent person and you're so into your own worlds that it is hard to imagine like getting to know somebody on that level again, right? And so I do feel like this is going to be kind of the big question mark for you. Something that you are considering, maybe not that seriously, maybe, but it might build up to something a little bit more serious, right? And, you know, I don't know. I think that maybe the enjoyment for you here is in the kind of what's not said, what's not actually happening. There's something really, it's almost kind of intoxicating, I think. Like almost just so potent about a unrealized love, right? The flirtation of it, the will they, won't they, are we going to, aren't we going to, you know, the back and forth, the seduction, the, you know, all of the potential, but to never actually go there, right? To never actually walk through that door. And, you know, a lot of that lives in your mind, and you're in Aquarius, so you have a very developed inner world. Absolutely. So this might be something that, you know, I don't know, maybe that's all it is. Maybe this is a place where, you know, you kind of live in a fantasy a little bit. And listen, there's nothing wrong with that. We've all done it. I'm sure most of us will do it again, right? But I do think that it is something to consider, making sure that you're staying tempered, right? To stay balanced. Not to abandon the duties of your life, to kind of give yourself over to, kind of the pleasures of courtship or a love affair or, you know, whatever. Now, if you've ever been in love, you know, whatever I'm saying is just nonsense. Tempering oneself when you are in love, when you are experiencing, you know, the dance of love. Get out of here, Lenor, you know, basically. But I think that this is going to be one of the central points of this next time period as well. Okay. Now we also have, it looks like, some animals here, and somebody riding on an animal. Also, we have the moon above them. So I do feel like this really, I think it's reiterating this kind of, the moon really is about illusion, fantasy, creativity, and kind of gaining the fragments of information, of data, of inspired, you know, whatever, and putting that together and creating something. This is the moon energy, right? And so I feel like for you, and with these wild animals, you know, you can see the person's kind of riding this beast here, and then we have another one down here. It's about really trying to keep one foot in the waking life on the ground, right? And the other foot in that other place, kind of living on the borderlands, okay? Allowing yourself to go into self and you know, really explore the depths of your imagination, but also, again, not neglecting those responsibilities, continuing to keep your life built up as you've worked so hard to do. But at the same time, I feel like it's really important for you to take some of this, whatever you're learning about yourself, whatever is being revealed to you, and putting it into some kind of creative outlet. Now, it doesn't have to be a painting or, you know, you're writing some great, you know, sonnet or something. I don't know. But, you know, it could be something like, you know, cooking or, fixing up the house, or, you know, whatever it is. But I think that putting that energy that you are really kind of, I mean, I feel it's like you're collecting just a big old mountain of this inspiration, this energy, this desire to make something, you know, not only of your life, but within your life, right? Just really, you know, it's like that day that you're like, okay, I'm going to Michael's or Hobby Lobby, or, you know, I don't know, whatever art store is in your area, and I'm gonna go and find some stuff to do, to work on, to make. And really allowing yourself to lean into that energy, to that desire to do something. And so I see this kind of being very much part of this love energy, because it is like you're connecting with somebody, you're also getting into this creative state. And this is a really beautiful place for these things to come together. And I'm really excited for you, honestly. But yes, managing those high highs, and sometimes, yeah, feeling kind of low or let down or frustrated or whatever, making sure that you are able to tame the beast, that you are able to keep yourself in that balance, okay? Now, let's look over here. So we have, it looks like somebody walking through a garden. I almost feel like it's like a bedroom window facing a garden. Something about sweeping. There's like, it's showing you this kind of motion, sweeping, sweeping, sweeping. I almost like am thinking like, if you've ever seen like maybe like an older person outside of like their apartment building or something in the city, and they're out there sweeping the sidewalk and taking care of, you know, the entryway and the flower beds and this kind of thing. And thinking like, why would somebody go out of their way to do that if they're like renting a place there or whatever? But I feel like you had or have somebody who is older in your life who really kind of instilled this, like, you just take care of stuff, right? If you own it or not, you take care of it. And I feel like for you, this relationship, this role model that you have or had, and they might be transitioned already, this meant so much to you. I mean, this is like one of those defining relationships of your life, and really helped you to become who you are. And I do, and I think that sometimes when you are going through the motions of your day, you think about, you know, Dad would have been proud of me, or, you know, I'm halfway through this project. I kind of want to just go do something else right now. But you know what? I better see it through. And it's kind of like calling back onto that wisdom that this person kind of really gifted to you. And so I feel like this is a good time to remember them, to honor them. Now, if you are somebody who is celebrating one of the many holidays that's, you know, either going on right now or coming up soon, maybe a good time to put out a picture of them. You know, if you have some kind of special mantle or altar, or, you know, whatever it is, having them in your home during this time, you know, remembering them and bringing that energy and really activating it in your living space, I think would really kind of benefit you. I think it would benefit the whole atmosphere together. And they're with you, you know, and that's why they're showing themselves to me right now. But I do feel like you feel them, you think about them, and maybe even there is a little bit of a sadness because they might not be here to celebrate, you know, these holidays with you. But they're with you. Don't, you know, if you perceive it or not, they are. They're there. Don't worry. Now, we're going to do our 3 lucky numbers. Okay, we have number 40, 40, number 88, 40, 88, 59. Beautiful. Now we're going to finish with our Wild Offering Oracle cards. And I'm just going to go ahead and flip through. I'm going to stop where it feels right. And we're at love. Love. It's not about finding love. You are love itself. Help me, Lord, to send so much compassion and caring to the inner child that I always remember. I myself am love. I myself am love. I don't need love. I create love. I was going to say I need love, but no. That's not what I'm talking about. All right. Aquarius, I'm going to go ahead and tell you I love you because I do. And I thank you so much for spending this time with me. It's always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. And if you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. Also, if you want to leave a comment, please do. I read them all, and I love hearing from you. All right, Aquarius, I love you, I love you, I love you. Take care of yourself. We'll talk again real soon. Good night.